4AI-Any4 from. Reference to translocation. Carbohydrates, glucose, sugars, amino acids, made in the leaves or reference to photosynthesis in leaves. 3 glucose carbohydrates, converted to sucrose. 4 leaves act as a source and roots act as a sink. 5 phloem transports sucrose amino acids. 6 sucrose named sugars, collect above the girdle. 4ae. Xylem is still intact, idea that xylem is further inside the trunk. Mineral ions transported by xylem. 4b-Any3 from. Idea that glucose required, for aerobic respiration, to release energy, for ATP production. Reference, to active transport. To transport mineral ions, from low to high concentration against their concentration gradient. 4C6CO2 plus 6H2O right pointing arrow C6H12O6 plus 6O2. 3AI-Any5 from. As temperature increases the mass of leaves decreases. Reference. By increased transpiration, evaporation increases, from surface of the mesophyll cells. Due to increased kinetic energy of water molecules, diffusion of water vapor increases. Through stomata. 3ae humidity, reference 1 e.g. wind speed. 3 by xylem, 1. 3b-Any3 from. Hollow, no cell contents, to reduce resistance, allow efficient flow. No end walls, to reduce resistance, allow efficient flow. Large cross-sectional area, wide, to allow transport of large volume of water. Lignin 2, prevent collapse, provide support, provide strength. Waterproof, to prevent water loss. Reference e.g. boarded pits for lateral fluid transport. 3c. Any3 from. Into the root hair cell. By active transport. Against a concentration gradient. Reference. Using energy. Using carrier proteins in the cell membrane. Also initially by diffusion. 4ai positive phototropism. 4ae-Any2 from. Plants have cell walls. Pressure of water pressing against cell wall. Reference, to turgor. Reference, to xylem offering support. Reference to lignin. 4b label to xylem shown on Fig. 4.2. 4c-Any3 from. Translocation. Transport of sucrose amino acids sugars. Transports nutrients from named source to named sink. Reference e.g. transport can occur in both directions. Some organs can be both a source and or a sink at different times. 4d strip of stalk. Explanation, max 2 from. Shows greater degree of bending, shriveling. Reference. Because more water moves out of the cells in the inner surface of the scape. Water moves from high water potential to lowest water potential, lower water potential. As cells become plasmolized, flaccid, less turgid. 1a. It is made of named tissues in a leaf. Tissues, working together, for a specific named functions. 1b reference to photosynthesis. B is the palisade mesophyll tissue layer, cells and C contains spongy mesophyll tissue layer, cells, vascular bundles, xylem, phloem. Any3 from. Layer B. Cells are, tightly, vertically, packed or columnar or few cross walls. Cells, layer positioned immediately below, layer A, the upper epidermis. To maximize light energy reaching, cells, chloroplasts, layer. Reference to many chloroplasts, lots of chlorophyll. Large vacuole keeps the chloroplasts towards the sides of cells. Any3 from. Layer C. Cells are loosely packed, layer contains interconnecting air spaces. Between cells. Mesophyll, air spaces to allow, gas exchange, diffusion of named gases. Mesophyll, air spaces to allow evaporation of water from cell surfaces into air spaces. Xylem has, thick, lignified, waterproofed, pitted, cell wall. Xylem long continuous tube, no cytoplasm, hollow or no end cross, walls. Xylem to allow transport of water, mineral ions. Phloem to allow translocation, transport of sucrose, sugar, amino acids. 1G guard cell. 1C gas exchange described regulation of transpiration. Reference. 1C reduce water loss through transpiration. Reference to preventing wilting. 1d-Any3 from. Stomata will take longer to close, reduces stomatal closure, reduces stomatal response. Reduced water vapor concentration, diffusion, gradient between the air spaces and the outside. So the guard cells do not lose water as quickly much as the first experiment. The guard cells state become turgid or guard cells take longer to become flaccid. 6ai. Either all roots have grown downwards with gravity no matter which way they were facing at the start. Or roots show positive gravitropism, geotropism. And either all shoots have grown upwards in opposite direction to gravity no matter which way they were facing at the start. or shoots show negative, gravitropism, geotropism. 6a gravitropism, 1. 6a Ne5 from. Auxin made in, released from, shoot tip. Auxin moves by diffusion. Auxin stimulates cell elongation. In B. Petri dish 1. Auxin has a higher concentration of auxin on the lower surface of the shoot. Auxin stimulates cell elongation more on lower side of the shoot. Shoot grows away from the pull of gravity reference. In E. Petri dish 2. Auxin is equally distributed in the shoot. Auxin stimulates cell elongation equally on, both, all, sides of the shoot. Shoots grow neither up or down, shoot grows straight because the effect of gravity is constantly changing, countered by rotating the Petri dish. 6 by example of an appropriate environment condition, 1 e.g., temperature. 6b Ne2 from. Oxygen aerobic respiration. Water used in named cell process. Water is a solvent reference. Water used for turgor. Reference. 2a mesophyll. Diffuses. 2b Ne3 from. Transpiration pull. Draws up a column of water. Held together by forces of attraction between water molecules. Xylem forms a continuous empty tube. Loss of water from leaf reduces water potential, hydrostatic pressure. Reference e.g. adhesion between water molecules and wall of xylem. Reference. 2 Chi describe max 3 from. As wind speed increases, the rate of transpiration increases in both light and dark. The rate of transpiration is higher in the light than the dark. The rate of increase in transpiration rate is higher in the light than the dark. Reference change of gradient at wind speeds above 4 meters per second to 10 meters per second. Comparative correct data quote including units. Explain. Transpiration rate increases because the water vapor is removed from outside the leaf faster. Reference. Maintaining the concentration gradient for diffusion. In the light, more stomata are open wider. To allow gas exchange, carbon dioxide to diffuse in, oxygen to diffuse out. For photosynthesis, energy from light increases the kinetic energy of the water molecules. Rate of evaporation of water. 2C line drawn increasing with wind speed but below the light line, one must start below 2 grams per hour. A below the dark line. 2C Ne4 from. Prediction. Lower rate of less transpiration in the light. At all wind speeds. Little change in the dark. Explanation. Max 3 from. Less water absorbed by the roots. Water moves from the cells. By osmosis. Guard cells lose their turgidity, become flaccid. In the light, stomata close. Plant leaves tree, wilts. Little change in dark because stomata already closed. 0610_S22_Ms_42. 3ai Ne5 from. 1 as temperature increases, the mass of leaves decreases. Reference. 2 by increased transpiration. 3 evaporation increases. 4 from surface of the mesophyll cells. 5 due to increased kinetic energy of water molecules. 6 diffusion of water vapor increases. 7 through stomata. 3a humidity. Reference 1 e.g. wind speed. 3 by xylem. 1. 3b Ne3 from. 1 hollow, no cell contents, to reduce resistance, allow efficient flow. 2 no end walls, to reduce resistance, allow efficient flow. 3 large cross-sectional area, wide, to allow transport of large volume of water. 4 lignin to prevent collapse, provide support, provide strength. 5 waterproof, to prevent water loss. 6 reference, e.g. boarded pits for lateral fluid transport. 3C Ne3 from. Into the root hair cell. By active transport. Against a concentration gradient. Reference. Using energy. Using carrier proteins in the cell membrane. Also initially by diffusion. 3ai transpiration. 1. 3ae ensure continuous column of water, prevents air bubbles. Prevents airlock. 3ae prevent evaporation, condensation from the top of the burette, affecting the volume of water in the burette. Reference. 3a measure the decrease in the volume of water in burette over a period of time, record the decrease in mass over time. 3 by 12,096 grams per square meter. 12.096 kilograms per square meter. 3a 12/12.1 kilograms per square meter. Correct reading from graph 0.28 grams per square meter per s. Correct calculation. 0.28606012 equals 12,096 grams. Correct unit, g or kilogram. 4 from incorrect. 3b Ne5 from. 1 as temperature increases, rate of water loss increases. 2 reference to steeper rate, greater loss of water, after 37/38 of a degree Celsius. 3. Any correct comparative data quote with units at least once. 4. Water vapor lost, through stomata, between guard cells. 5. Evaporation from mesophyll into air spaces. 6. Diffusion down a, water potential, gradient. 7. Increasing temperature increases kinetic energy of water molecule. 8. Faster rate of more, diffusion. 9. Stomata open wider, more stomata open in higher temperatures. 10. Reference. 3. Chi no diffusion of water vapor. Because no water potential gradient described. 3. C. It has a continuous supply of water. Reference. 3. C. Line drawn below original line. 2. A. Any shape drawn that includes one whole vascular bundle including all of the xylem and phloem with or without sclerenchyma. Label line from X to xylem in any of the vascular bundles. 2. B. Cell vacuoles. Cells contain much water, have high water potential. Water absorbed by osmosis down, water potential gradient. Cells are turgid, have a turgor pressure. Cell contents vacuole, cell membrane, pushes out against cell wall. Cell wall does not stretch, is inelastic, is rigid. Reference, e.g. cells are tightly packed. Reference. 2. CQ sucrose 13C is in shoot and root. T. No, sucrose 13C in shoot or root. R. Sucrose 13C in root only, in root but not in shoot. S. Sucrose 13C in shoot only, in shoot but not in root. Idea that no transport of sucrose 13C where phloem is removed. Phloem transports sucrose in both directions. Leaf is source, carbon dioxide is fixed in leaf, sucrose is made in leaf. Roots, shoots, are sinks described. E.g. of descriptions respired, stored as starch converted to another named compound. Reference, e.g. Q is a control. 3. AI provides suitable optimum pH for correct named enzyme. Action. Activates enzyme pepsin. Kills. Reference. Bacteria, viruses, pathogens, microbes. Reference. 3. AE catalyzes, breaks down, chemically digests of protein 2 amino acids. 3. B movement of digested food molecules into cells. Food molecules become part of cells. 3. C. Stem cells divide by mitosis. Form named specialized cells in stomach. To replace cells in the lining of stomach. Idea that cells are worn away from the surface of the stomach. For repair of any damage to tissues. 3D. Increase large surface area. For absorption of named substances described. Reference. Function name of structure letter from Fig. 6.1. Provides support to the stem xylem L. Protects flower bud sepal G. Produces glucose leaf H. Produces pollen anther B. Delivers male nuclei to the site of fertilization pollen tube D. 6AE. B. D. F. 6AE translocation. 6A H. 6 binitrate ions. 6B ribosomes, rough endoplasmic reticulum. 6B enzymes.